Thank you very much for joining us,
Pleasure.
Mr. Ridgway. I want to begin by asking why you are so opposed to the air passenger duty.
Well, because I think we've seen the damage it's progressively been doing to the UK economy, indirectly to our businesses, because clearly this is a tax that's paid by consumers. But APD doubled in 2007, and we've seen 3 increases in the last 4 years. And if you just look at some of the statistics now, 30 million fewer passengers went through UK airports. Since 2007, we've seen a massive increase in passengers going through European airports. And one of the most telling statistics for me is the fact that we're all trying to do more business with China. We want more Chinese tourists. 3 million Chinese tourists come to Europe every year. Only 175,000 of those come to the UK, whereas Germany manages 750,000, as does Italy, as does France. If you just look at the spend and the duration of spend for long-haul international visitors like that and assess that in terms of what that brings to the UK economy compared to the tax take on APD, I think it becomes very evident. And that's why we're calling on the government to scrap the tax, and equally, if they want to verify why that's the right thing to do, carry out this review and show the disbenefits of the tax, and let's get more people to the UK. Look at next year, the Olympics. What an amazing showcase. We want the maximum number of people in this country at the Olympics, and probably more importantly, actually, given that it will be that showcase for the UK, we want them to come afterwards in their millions. And I know David Cameron does as well. It's a plank of his economic recovery, tourism. So we're not joined up, are we?
But how confident are you that the government is actually going to back down on this?
Well, we've seen a very interesting development in Northern Ireland, literally in the last month, where they could see the economic damage that was being done to Northern Ireland, and the tax has been very substantially reduced, right down to short-haul levels for a long-haul tax, because it simply was doing damage. So if that's the case, I think you may well see APD taxation devolve to the regions, and I bet you what you'll see then is the tax get scrapped in regions like Scotland, because they will see the damage being done. So carry out the assessment. Let's see what the real economic opportunity is for getting growth, for getting more jobs in aviation. Look at the unemployment figures yesterday. Youth unemployment, the worst we've ever seen. And we know that aviation and tourism has a huge propensity to employ young people. Let's get more people in our hotels, in our restaurants, working on our airlines, more cabin crew.
How satisfied would you be if the government was to just abolish the rise in air passenger duty? Would that be enough of a...
It wouldn't be, because we can see the damage that's being done by APD at the levels it's been for the last year, and really since the big rises back in 2007. So I think they need to be brave. I think they need to really grab hold of what could be far bigger economic benefits by scrapping the tax and driving that growth, driving tourism and driving business. You know, that's what's going to turn the economy around in terms of growth.
And if they don't do it, how's that going to play into Virgin Atlantic's strategy?
Well, I think this was an unprecedented morning to see the 4 of us together. You don't normally see the 4 big airlines together like this. We're normally fighting and scrapping tooth and nail, and so we're going to continue this campaign.
Okay. In January, it's come up in the press conference as well, but we've got the introduction of the emissions trading scheme. What's your opinion on that? Do you think it should replace air passenger duty rather than supplement it? Well,
we have long been a supporter of emissions trading schemes, of a cap and trade scheme, because I think it provides the right incentives and the right behaviour for the airlines to buy the newest aircraft, the most efficient aircraft. It absolutely drives the right behaviour as far as the environment's concerned. APD is not a green tax. It was originally introduced, purportedly as a green tax, but it clearly isn't now. It's just a tax take. But I think to have one on top of the other is going to do even more damage. So our view is that emissions trading is the right way to go in terms of driving long-term sustainable growth in the aviation industry. And beyond that, we need to be making sure that we aren't closing off demand, and we are enabling families to fly, we are enabling tourists to come to this country, and we're enabling more businessmen to come to the UK and do business.
I mean, IATA have said that the emissions trading scheme actually should be introduced globally. What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously it's affecting your competitiveness.
Yeah, no, I think that we support the principle of ETS, and most importantly, we support the principle that it needs to be a global scheme so that you get this behaviour replicated right across the road, right across the world, and therefore the whole industry behaving in a manner that benefits long-term the environment.
Just wondering more generally, oil's now back above $100 a barrel. Bank of England cut its growth forecast yesterday.
It's above $110 a barrel, actually.
Yeah. So, it's back up above 100. Yeah. I mean, what are the biggest headwinds at the moment for the airline industry?
Well, I think it's precisely that it's really about economic confidence and the performance of the economy, and that is affecting travel, and that is certainly not helped by things like the levels of APD. So yes, it's oil prices, but I think it's underlying economic performance and growth. And we're all seeing Europe grinding to halt, UK grinding to halt. We need to get the economy going, and tourism and aviation is one great engine to do that.
Now, as you say, it's remarkable that you're all here together. It's also remarkable that you're together because you're locked in a takeover battle for BMI. I'm just wondering where you are with Deutsche Lufthansa on talks about the BMI unit.
Well, actually, I'm not here to talk about that today. We commented last week where the two companies are, and so I need to leave it there for today, because we're here today talking about the UK economy and what we can do as a group of airlines as part of the aviation industry, which we believe is a very key sector.
But the talks are still ongoing.
Well, so the position is the same as it was a week ago, so let's leave it there.